Now, I'm going to be honest with you. What I have for you today is not going to take long. But I hope it's impactful for you. I hope that you hear it and that you grab hold to it. That you don't just walk out of here today hearing another lesson, but you heard something that you plan to implement. That's always my desire, but today, especially today, I want for you to walk out of this place and say, for me today, I'm getting ready to make a greater change. For me today, okay? The title of my lesson is, Will You Make Room? Notice the you is underlined because I'm not going to talk about nobody in the room today except you. You, and you. I don't want you to worry about pointing at anybody else today. I want you to think about you. Ask yourself, will you make room? Will you make room? And like I said, it won't be long. But if you listen, I promise you, you'll get something that you can use for the rest of your day at least. Hopefully the rest of your life. Luke chapter 2, verse 7 says, and she brought forth her firstborn son and wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger because there was no room for them in the inn. And again, like I said, the title today is, Will You Make Room? See, we've heard this story many times. We've heard this story almost every Christmas time. We've been singing songs about this story since we were this small. Away in the manger, no crib for his bed. Y'all remember that? Since we were this small. We've heard this statement made plenty of times. There was no room for Jesus. And maybe, just maybe, we've even spoken with judgment over the innkeeper. Because how could you not have room for Jesus? But have you ever paused to ponder that we may be doing the same exact thing? That we're telling God that there's no room for you right now. Get with me next Sunday, though. I promise next Sunday is going to be the Sunday I finally get right with you. But right now, there's no room for you. Now, here's what I learned in life. We will always make room for the things we truly value. I'm sure that this innkeeper was just like many others in his day and time. Couldn't wait for the Messiah. They studied the passages. They couldn't wait to worship at his feet one day. But when the Messiah shows up to his doorstep, he doesn't recognize the situation. And therefore, there was no room for him. It's hard for me to believe that if he knew it was the Messiah, he wouldn't have put somebody else out of a room to give them the room. And then, see, Jesus has been presenting himself to us all along, and we've been telling him the same thing. There's no room for you because we didn't recognize him. We didn't. Surely, if I knew it was you, Jesus, I would move things around in my life. Revelations 3:20 says, behold, I stand at the door and I knock. If any man hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him and I will sup with him and he with me. I don't know why this is making me emotional. Why, Lord? Why? Why can't I speak without crying? I stand at the door and I knock. If any man in there hears me and opens the door. See, here's the thing. You are hearing right now, but you will not open the door. You leave the door shut. You talk to him through the door. Lord, I do want you to bless me, Lord. Open the door. Nah, it might not be you this time. If any man hears me and opens the door, I will come into him and sup with him and he with me. You see, Jesus promises us that if we make room for him, he will come in. He just doesn't kick the door in and force you to make room for him. He says, if you hear me and open the door, I will come in with you and I will hang with you. I will have fellowship with you. This will be the best part of your life. And then part of me can't understand why so many of us aren't making room for him. Why, Lord? I'm thinking, Lord, they know you got to be good. They come to church every Sunday. Why are they not making room for you? And then what came into my spirit is that maybe we haven't made room for him because we feel like there's a lot of stuff we got to clean up first. You know, I mean, I wouldn't invite you over to my house if I got to clean up first. You're going to be invited, but not yet because I got to clean up first. But you want to know the beauty of it? If you let him come in, if you make room for him, he'll help you clean. I don't know about y'all, but growing up, there was nothing worse than having to clean by yourself. Your sisters and brothers looking at you, look, y'all help me. Help me. Man, mama didn't tell me to do that part. She didn't tell me either. She just said she whooping everybody if this house ain't clean. I'm doing everybody's job because I don't want a whooping. Y'all help me. Jesus says, if you want me to help? Nah, not you, Jesus, because you're going to make me throw away stuff I want to hold on to. I would make room for you, Jesus, but letting you come in, I got to rearrange everything. And all I want to do is I don't want to clean, I want to straighten. Let me see, this doesn't go there, but I'll just put it here. That's clean enough. That's clean enough. Lift the rug, kick it under the rug. Clothes, dirty clothes hamper, and daddy will never know, put it under the bed. Then you come in the room, what is that smell in here? You forgot you got socks under your bed that stuff is growing on. Your socks can crawl on their own. You won't make room for them. See, we don't want others to know how we're living. I don't want y'all to know how I'm living away from this building. But God knows exactly how you're living. And here's the crazy part. He still wants to help you clean up. But the question still remains. Will you make room? Will you make room? He's knocking. He wants to come in so bad. So bad. And all we got to do is open up. Let him in. Let him reign. Let him lead you. If you think about it, just really think about it, most of the troubled areas of our lives are areas where we've refused to make room for Christ. Well, I shouldn't say for y'all because I don't know your life. Let me just talk about my life. If there's an area in my life that is not functioning properly, it's probably an area of my life that I have not made room for Christ to lead. I'm still doing this one myself. I still have a good grasp on how it should be done. Did you catch the bad word I used? I think I got it. I think I know. Christ is like, why would you lead yourself when you can let me lead you? Make room for me and let me do this. A few weeks ago, my wife and I started doing a devotional together early in the mornings. And to be honest with you, it's been a true blessing to spend that time with each other. But even more wonderful than spending time with her is having the confidence that making room for God in those early morning hours is setting my day on the proper course. And then it starts to set our marriage on the proper course. And then it starts to set our entire life on the proper course. Our devotions don't take long. The reading is like literally 45 seconds, 50 seconds, but then we talk about what we read. And what does this speak to you? And how does it, and then, it seems like she's starting to be a little bit more submissive. Psych. That was a good one. That was a good one. I was making sure y'all was still awake. But in all honesty, it has been a great joy for me. And the mornings that we struggle to wake up because we're so tired, we text back and forth through the day to say, man, I wish we could have got our devotion in today. We long for that time, not just together, but to make room for God to move. And then I told myself, I said, self, you need to start being more deliberate with spending time in the Word with your sons. See, because my sons have great Sunday school teachers. And they got a pretty good dad that tries to school them on some godly stuff. But I need to be more deliberate and set aside some time to make room for God in our home. You see, Deuteronomy 6:7 says, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by thy way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. There's always a chance to make room for God. And see, if we don't make room for him in our homes, you better believe the enemy will take up that space quickly. Ephesians 4:27 in the King James, it says, neither give place to the devil. In the NIV, it says, and do not give the devil a foothold. Don't even give him a place to etch his foot in so he can keep climbing in your life. The more room you make for Christ, the less room there will be for the enemy to disturb your walk. And you should hear the conversations that me and my son have on the way home from school. You should hear them. I have to bathe myself in prayer before we have conversation because the stuff that he is being exposed to at school, it breaks my heart. Because this is not what we teach. It's not just worldly, it is demonic. It is evil. You're in the 5th grade. Why are they talking about stuff like that? So he's like, Daddy, what's a blank? Daddy, what is this? And I'm like, that's what y'all talked about? Let me pull over and sprinkle you with oil real quick. Gosh, I don't even want you to go to school anymore. But if I don't make room for Christ in my home, then I better make room for the disappointment of watching my son go down, 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 down. Enough about me. Let's talk about you. Can I ask y'all a question? Will you make room for the Lord? Okay. The more room you make for him, the more you're going to realize how much you enjoy his company. You ever had one of those friends you really enjoy their company? Like when they're gone, you're like, man, I really enjoyed hanging with you. Y'all didn't do nothing but eat wings and just talk about nothing. I just really enjoyed hanging with you. I mean, we got to do this again. That's how it's going to be with you and God. You start spending quality time with me, like, you know what? I really enjoy hanging with you. We got to do this again. You free tomorrow, same time? 4:30 a.m., 5? Jesus like, look, man, don't be waking me up at no 4:30 now. Psalms 34:8 says, oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that trusteth in him. The more room you make for him, the more you're going to realize you love being with him. Oh, taste and see. Oh, taste and see. See, have you ever heard someone else tell you how good something is? Like, man, that pie is the bomb. Okay, that's probably pretty good. But until you tasted it, you couldn't appreciate it like they could. That pie is the bomb. You're like, nah, you say that about everything. Then you bit into that pie, you're like, hey, this pie is the bomb. Then you try to figure out how to hide the pie from everybody else so you can take it home with you. Or, let me stop talking about myself. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that trusteth in him. The more room you make for Christ, the more you're going to learn that you can trust him. I think we struggle to trust because we haven't made room for him to move in our life. Because when we allow him to move in our life, he will prove to himself that he is trustworthy, that he deserves our trust. He deserves our honor. Now, I told you earlier that we make room for the things we value or love. Do y'all remember when we were small, we were little, and the car only held 5 people, but 8 people had to go? What did we do? We made room. 3 people had to sit on 3 people's lap. And then we strategically worked, okay, you 3 are the skinniest, y'all stand right here. Okay, you sit on the back left, you sit on his lap. We had a plan in place for how to stock this car. We made room for everybody. Made room for everybody. A few of y'all was in the trunk. Jolene, it's okay. It's okay that you was in the trunk. We still love you. We made room. This reminds me of when I was in college and I worked at UPS for one night. One night. That's all they got out of me was one night. But see, before I went on the floor to actually work, they trained us for a few days. And in the training, they showed us how to properly load the trucks. They taught us how if we packed it properly, we could make room for many more packages. You see, making room for Christ allows God to pack more into your life. Sometimes we have a strong desire to be connected with him, but we don't feel like we know where to start. Like, it's so much chaos in my life. It's so cluttered in my life. I don't think I can fit anything else in. I mean, literally, God, I go to work from this time to this time, and I got the kids, and I got to do this, I got to do that, and I got to take the kids to basketball practice, and we got to do this, and we got church on Wednesday. I don't have time. I don't know if I can fit you in. What if God said, Brother God, I got to go help people in Asia and Africa. I don't know if I'm going to have time to cut your arrow on today. You can see if you can work with the oxygen I gave you yesterday, because I don't have time to get back to you, I don't think. No, you better make room for God. I just can't figure out how to fit you in. I don't know where to start, Lord, and if you just show me how to start, I might buy into this. And the cool thing about that one night at UPS was seeing firsthand how their system actually works. It really works. They taught us in a classroom how to load the truck. But when I went on the floor and I practiced what I learned in the classroom, it actually worked. Think about what I just said. Where are you right now? You're in the classroom learning how to pack it in. But then if you go home and you actually apply it, it will actually work. So this is what they told us. You take the big, sturdy, strong box and you stick it in the corner. And then that way you can start building up your wall from there. You want to hear something really cool? They called that box the cornerstone. I'm not sure if the CEO was Christian or not, but you want to hear something even more cool? Did you know they called Jesus the cornerstone? Psalms 118:22 says, the stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. The stone that the builders wouldn't make room for has become the stone that everything else will be built upon. If we make room for Christ, we can then begin to build the best and most sturdy life possible. Because with him in his proper place as the cornerstone of our life, God can start packing on the blessings. So here's what we need to do. We need to make room for God to speak. We need to make room for God to move. We need to make room for God to work. Make room for him to speak. Make room for him to move. Make room for him to work in your life. And just in case you don't know where to start, here's a few strategies for you. I'm going to throw these out for free. The other 275 are $3.99 plus tax a piece, but I'll work something out with y'all. Here's one for you. Wake up 20 minutes earlier so you can give God 10 minutes. I know what you're thinking. Hold on, brother. That math don't add up. You just said wake up 20 extra minutes to give God 10. Well, I know some of y'all is going to take 10 to get out of the bed. So that gives God the other 10. All right? You see what I'm saying? I know because it takes me 3.5. I get up, I'm like, crack, snap, pop, pop, snap. And then my wife goes, won't you lay back down for 5 minutes? Get thee behind me, Satan. All right, 5 more minutes. Then I talk to my Siri and I tell her to set a timer for 5 minutes. Okay, your timer is set for 5 minutes. And then when that goes off, my wife says, baby, 2 more minutes. Set another timer for 2 more minutes. And before you know it, I'm late for work. Wake up 20 more minutes. See, I'm not telling you to give an hour yet. Start with 20 minutes. Here's what you're going to learn. You're going to enjoy his company so much, 20 minutes won't be enough. Then you will get up an hour earlier. Here's what's strange to me. You know what's strange to me? We haven't made room for God to come to Sunday school, but we make room to go Black Friday shopping at 5 a.m. Like 5 a.m., I pop up like, woo, JCPenney, here I come. Halfway brush my teeth, right? I don't care about them people in line. Maybe this will make them back up so I can get first. But you be like, won't y'all come to Sunday school? You know, I just don't like getting up that early on the weekend. We haven't made room for God to come to Sunday school at 9 a.m., but I'll make room to catch my 6 a.m. flight, and I got to be at the airport at 4 a.m. Now, I was supposed to be coming back from Philadelphia tonight because I was going to go to the Army-Navy game, but things didn't work out, and I'm glad because I would have rather been with y'all than freezing in the cold watching Navy beat Army. Sorry, brother. Yes, we did. We did that. We did it yesterday. We did it yesterday. Now, remember what I said to you. We will make room for the things that are important to us. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel like Brother Cody's pointing at you right now. Let me point at me. We will make room for things we hold important. We will. And I don't, well, yeah, sometimes no. If it's important to you, you will make room for it. You will make room for it. So get up an extra 20 minutes and see what God can do with those 20 minutes. Here's another one for you. And if I step on your toes, please forgive me. But I'm going to do it anyhow. Read your verse of the day from the CCN network. Let that verse propel you into thinking about God throughout your whole day. Now, I'm not saying anything about anyone in this room, but I would venture to say that there are some of us in this room right now that when the alert goes off on your phone at 7 a.m., you know it's the church and you know it's the verse and you don't even look. Because I already know what that is. So I become so familiar with it that I can just scroll right by and who cares? Now, let me tell you about me personally, because I get to send the verse out to you, which means I get to read it before you ever see it. And when I get up at 5 a.m. and I schedule it to come to you at 7. That's the reason why it's almost always at 7. The only times that ain't at 7, most time is on Saturday when I wake up late. All right? But all the other days, 7 o'clock, bling, your phone should be ringing. And I let y'all get it at 7 so in case y'all still sleep. One time I actually sent it at 5. I'm sorry. But when I look at the verse, God speaks to me. And then I share with you what he showed me through the verse. Okay? So I give you a nugget from my heart, and then I give you the greater nugget from his heart. But then you go, I already know it's Brother Cody. That's Brother Cody. Don't even worry about that one. Who else texts me? Oh, there's a sale in Macy's. Open that one up. Let's see. Oh, 40%. Oh, girl, we going to Macy's. Now, let me tell you, this is me now. This is me. There has been mornings when I open my app to see the verse of the day, that it was the exact verse that I needed for that day. I don't know about you guys. I'm just telling you about me. It was exactly what I needed for that day. And so I thank God, Lord, how did you know I needed this? God is like, really? You're going to ask me that? You know, I know everything. So all I'm asking you is, will you make room for him? How long does it take to read the verse of the day? 45 seconds? For the rest of your day, that verse is in your head. But if you are wise, you will put it in your heart. Because maybe at 3:30, you're going to need it. Do good unto those that, oh, Lord. I needed that one because little dude on my job almost got these hands. I've been praying, but he's about to get these hands. I'm saying he's finna get these hands. Y'all don't realize how many times I have contemplated if it's worth the bail money. Baby, how much we got in the savings? Let me see. It's 10% for bail, right? $20,000 bail, that's $2,000. Nah, I'm going to let that kid slide today. Here's another one you've heard over and over, but maybe you haven't put it to practice yet. Turn off your car radio and spend your commute in communion with God. Nashville traffic stinks. However, that's 45 minutes to an hour you get to spend with him. It changes your view of traffic. Like literally, I hate traffic. I would sit somewhere an extra hour or two just so I don't have to sit in traffic. But now I can't because I have someone in the back seat talking to me the whole way. But that gives me and him time to talk. Back in the day before he rode to school with me, I would spend that whole commute talking to God, crying out to God, praying for some of y'all in this room. I hope y'all was praying for me. You better. Thank you. She's all right with me. Some of my best prayer time has been while I was stuck on I-24. And you'd be surprised what 45 minutes to an hour of quality time with God would do to transform your life. I promise you this, you will never regret making room for him. There's a lot of regrets I have in life. That's not one of them. You will never regret. You'll never go, man, if I didn't make that room for God, I'd be able to. No, I promise you, you will never regret making room for him. James 4:8, the A clause says, draw nigh to God and he will draw nigh to you. If you make room for him, then comes y'all's favorite verse. He will open up the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing that I don't have room enough to receive. I claim it, Jesus. But we don't want to make no room for him. But I want my rooms to overflow. The innkeeper. Man, I'm almost done. It's too early. All right, it's too early. The innkeeper had no idea who he was turning away. But now we do. We do. So will we take what we've learned today and begin making room for Christ, or will we continue with the status quo? We'll just keep going with how we've always done it. Brother was right, man, but I'm going to give Christ, I'm for real, 2020 is going to be my year. There's no guarantee you're going to see 2020. I've already made up my resolutions. Really? How about you start today? The Bible says this is the day that the Lord has made. It doesn't say January 1st, 2020. And speaking of 2020, do you remember when we used to watch movies and said 2020? We're like, that'll never happen. That's in like 3 weeks. That's crazy. That's crazy. Jesus said to his disciples, and it's funny because today in our scriptural reading, these verses were there. He says to his disciples in John 14:1-3, let not your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. For in my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may also be. I go to prepare a place for you. So he's made room for us, but will we make room for him? He's already situated things for you. He's made plans for you. This is Brother Cody's room right here. Sister Bajan's is down the hall. Yeah. Sister Bajan's down the hall. She likes the heat a little hotter on that end, yeah. Not that end. I'm just on that end. Just so y'all know, I wasn't saying she was going to that end, just on that end. She's just down the hall from me, that's all I'm saying. I go and prepare a place for you. I prepared a place for you. And all I'm asking you is to prepare a place for me. There's a part in your heart that is reserved only for God. And see, what we've done is we've made room for everything but God, and we've tried to stick it in that spot. And that's the reason why our lives feel so unfulfilled. I need more money. Money doesn't fit, okay? I need a better relationship. That doesn't fit, okay? I know what I need. I need a better job. If I had a better job, my life would be, that doesn't fit. I need Jesus. Boop, 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 boop. All of a sudden it fits. And it starts opening up all this other stuff in your life. Pour you out a blessing. We've heard that one a million times. A blessing. All you need is one thing in its proper place. You need Christ in his proper place. And if you put him in his proper place, it opens everything else up. He's prepared a place for me, and he's prepared a place for you. And all he wants to know is, will you make room for him? He's even made room for the enemy. No, this place is for the enemy. Y'all don't come here. Y'all stay far away from here. This has been prepared for the enemy. In a moment, you're going to have the opportunity to come to this altar and to give God your heart. Now, I pray that you make room for him. I mean, for real, though. Not I'm coming because, oh, mama going, I better go with mama. I better stand beside mama. Oh, my wife's going, I better go stand beside my wife. I better go stand, okay. Keep your eyes closed so they don't know I'm thinking about the football game. Keep your eyes closed. Everybody else eyes closed? Oh, yeah, their eyes closed. We do it out of formality. Let when you walk down, it be because you say, you know what? I'm making room for you. No more of this fake, phony, play church stuff. I'm for real finna make room for you. Because I want you to reside. I want you to preside. I want you to reign and rule my life. In a moment, you're going to have the opportunity to walk down the aisle and to stop at this altar that represents the presence of God. You have the opportunity. You've been given this opportunity since forever. But for some reason today, maybe you feel God speaking to you differently. Maybe you do hear him saying, you know what, you haven't made room for me. The Bible even tells us, he says, I am a jealous God. You haven't made room for me. You know, they say that a lot of times that after a couple has kids, that they have more turmoil because now the wife doesn't have time for the husband. She got to take care of them kids, right? There's some truth to that a little bit. You have to try to figure out a way to make room for each other. Otherwise, you start kicking the kids. Maybe not y'all. Kick my kids. I thank God that there was a time in my life that I heard his call to make room, and I obeyed. And there's not a day that goes by that I'm not grateful that I heard his call and I made room. I made room. There's rooms that I was like, not that one yet, Jesus. Not that one yet, Jesus. Jesus like, no, I need to go in there. Stay out of that room, though, Jesus. That one's for me. Ooh, Jesus, you walked in the wrong room, didn't you? You didn't see nothing, did you? Keep your eyes closed, Jesus. Jesus says, if you will let me in, I will come in and I will sup with you. When I say that, I will sup with you, what do you see in your mind? What do you see? What do you feel? Do you feel a warmth? Do you feel like all of a sudden life is good because you're supping with Christ? Because you open the door and now you have a connection you've never had before. And all you got to do is make room. You're going to make your way down the aisle. And then you're going to make the greatest decision you've ever made. And that's to give God your heart. If you do that, I promise you this, you will have succeeded today. But you know what you got to do tomorrow? You got to wake up and do it all over again. You got to wake up and surrender your heart again. And if he gives you a day after that, and you wake up, you have to surrender your heart again. And if he gives you a day after that, again, and then again, and then again. And you keep doing it until he returns or until you breathe your last breath. So my question to you is this: will you make room? I thank you for lending me your ear, and I pray that you will render your hearts to God. God bless you all. God bless you.